Good morning. Good morning. Great things are happening today in Newport News, and another great breakthrough is happening right here today. It has been a very busy season right here and month in Newport News, hasn't it? We've been gathering together every few weeks for exciting events, announcements, and groundbreakings. Transformation and investment are taking place from one end of the city to the other. This is very exciting. Before we begin, I'd like to recognize the dignitaries who are here with us today. We have our Mayor, McKinley Price. We have Giselle Russell from Congressman Bobby Scott's office. And then others, we have Ryan LaFollette, the Deputy Regional Administrator for U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, Mid-Atlantic Region. That's a mouthful. We have Sandra Powell back home, the Senior Deputy Director of Community Housing, Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development. We have Neil Rogers, the Director of Compliance and Asset Management from Virginia Housing. We have, yes. We have Karen Wiles, yes, from the Executive Director of our Newport News Redevelopment and Housing Authority. Patrick Stewart, the Regional Vice President of Penrose. Is he available? Is he here? He's en route. Let's still give him a hand. We have Lamonte Williams, the Chair of the Citizens Advisory Committee. Where is he? Yes, right here in the front. And then we have Michael Diaz. Hi, Michael, community member. Thank you, all of you. Now, who's ready to celebrate? Today, we are cutting the ribbon to signal the completion of the first phase of housing for the City's Choice Neighborhood Initiative. Let's give it up. Yes. This has been a dream for so many years, to see our Southeast community revitalize and live again with hope and opportunity. It has been amazing to see this building coming up and all of the hard work that has gone into making this a reality. The Lift and the Rise blends affordable and market rate apartments to create a residential area that is reinvigorating economic growth in Newport News and creating a strong, thriving community. Through CNI, we are transforming the Marshall Ridley area, creating new housing options, community services, and early childhood center, recreational opportunities, parks, and so much more. Our first phase is complete, and more is coming. Let's give a hand again. To keep the momentum going, we'll need each one of you to continue to invest in and support our efforts. Please continue to share your time and your talents with us as we provide new breakthroughs, opportunities for residents, businesses, and guests. Thank you so much for being a part of this progress and for your support. Will you pray with me? Father God, we thank you for today. We thank you for this opportunity to stand in this place for this ribbon cutting. God, we are excited about what's about to happen in the lives of those who will come to live in these apartments. We thank you that it has been a long time coming, but God, a change has come, and we are excited about it. We say thank you for every person that has given their time, their talents, their resources, their efforts, their thoughts, their ideas, their suggestions, and even their complaints. God, we say thank you, because it would not be possible without everyone coming together and joining together to make this a great breakthrough in the city of Newport News. We honor you and we invite your presence to be with us today. Be with us even, God, as we begin to fill these apartments, oh God, We're just praying that your anointing would be over every person that shall enter into their new homes, God, and that they would know that this has truly been in life for them, God, and a sacrifice to make this happen. We thank you for those who have stood in the gap. We thank you for those who had the vision. We thank you for those who had the persistence. We thank you for those who had the perseverance to make this a dream come true. And we honor you for it, Lord. And we bless you. We take no credit for it, but we give all praise, glory, and honor to you. It's in your Son's name that we pray and give thanks for all things. Amen. We will now have Mayor Price to come up.
Thank you, Sandra, for that introduction, and thank you for those comments in our prayer. And I want to thank all of you for joining us on this exciting day today. You know, a key part of our vision for the Choice neighborhood area and the Southeast community is being realized today as we celebrate the completion of Phase 1 housing for the Marshall Ridley Choice neighborhood. Now, when I stood with you, many of you back in May of 2019 to celebrate HUD's $30 million investment in the Marshall Ridley neighborhood, we knew incredible breakthroughs were about to take place. We broke ground on this mixed-use development in 2021. And since then, we've hosted numerous other groundbreakings from Phase 2 housing from the Ridley site and the Newport News Early Childhood Center to S23 Holdings to Indy Dwell and the C.C. Carter Funeral Home. I wish we had slides like we did could show all of that. We also celebrated business openings, including the Southeast Community Pharmacy, the offices at 25 and J, and Marco's Pizza. The transformation that is taking place in this area is truly phenomenal. And all of our work is designed to bring holistic and sustainable change. Now, many individuals devoted countless hours as well as energy, creativity, and determination to ensure we create a community where residents and businesses thrive, where people have opportunities and the support they need to realize their dreams, where children receive the foundational education they need to thrive in school, work, and life, and a place where people can come together and build life-changing relationships. We are creating change that will impact our city for generations. And people are excited. The Lift and Rise isn't open yet, and we already have 2,547 people on the interest list. You heard me right. Over 2,500 people reached out because they want to live here. That's just incredible. This complex, the complex's close proximity to major employees and amenities makes it a unique and enticing residential community. So the mixed-use development features 81 2- and 3-bedroom apartments and 6 townhouses, and the amenities are top-notch. Residents have access to a community room, a fitness area, open-air community terrace and lounge, outdoor seating, a play area, in-unit washers and dryers, controlled access doors with security cameras, and on-site management and maintenance. The ground floor includes retail space for lease. Spaces are still available, so if you're looking for a prime place to open and relocate your business, please call the number Abbott Realty on the back of your program. And with such a large interest list and more growth coming to the area, it's the ideal time for business to break through in Newport News. I want to thank you to HUD, the Virginia Housing and the Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development, and other partners investing and believing in Newport News and our citizens. And thank you to Newport News Redevelopment and Housing Authority and to your city staff who have worked tirelessly on this project and the entire Choice Neighborhoods initiative. Thank you all. This ribbon cutting is particularly special for me as it is one of my last to participate in as the mayor of the city of Newport News, and is taking place in the area where I was born and still live. Now, my wife and I chose to raise our family here in the Southeast because of its spirit, its history, and its sense of community. We sit on front porches and we share stories and we look out for one another. We encourage our neighbors during the good and the bad times and lend support, especially during the bad times. This has been the essence of the Southeast community for generations. As I prepare to transition out of this role of mayor in a few short weeks, 24 days, but who's counting? I leave knowing my beloved city and the Southeast community are thriving. Every part of Newport News is seeing significant investments and a strengthening of community as we work together to build and to break through. So I'm excited about what the future holds for our city. You know, we smash atoms and build nuclear aircraft carriers. Anything in Newport News is possible. So I would like to now invite Ryan LaFollette, Deputy Regional Administrator with the Department of Housing and Urban Development, Mid-Atlantic, to the podium.
Good morning. I'm Ryan LaFollette. I'm the Deputy Regional Administrator for HUD's Region 3. I'm relatively new to this role. This is my first trip down to Newport News, and it is such a pleasure to be here today. I've only been in this role for about 3 months, but I have had the opportunity to visit several choice neighborhoods throughout the region. And so when I heard that, this was a phase 1 ribbon cutting, I set my expectations about what I was going to see here today. And I have to tell you, driving around Newport News this morning, I was just incredibly impressed, not just with this neighborhood, but with the city overall. And it really feels like there's a momentum to this community and it's going in the right direction. So, I want to thank you for inviting us here today on behalf of the Secretary, Marcia Fudge, and our Regional Administrator, Matthew Heckles. I had some prepared remarks, but I think, the mayor and the vice mayor, already covered some of the key initiatives of the Choice Neighborhoods Initiative. And driving around this morning, this is not what I expected to see in a phase 1 project. I mean, there are already this neighborhood with the grocery store across the street and addressing things like food deserts and the economic opportunities, the mixed income, the revitalization. You guys are already doing it. And so I'm super impressed with what I'm seeing here today. I really look forward to coming down again in the near future, in future phases, to see how things progress. I know it takes so many people to pull together a development project like this. So thank you to all the partners for your commitment to the residents of this neighborhood. And just on behalf of the Secretary, again, thanks so much. With that, I'll turn the microphone over to Sandra Powell, Senior Deputy Director of Community Housing for the Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development. Also a mouthful. Us government employees.
Good morning. That is a mouthful. I am Sandra Powell, Senior Deputy Director of Community Development and Housing with the Department of Housing and Community Development. And also here today, we have Mr. Todd Weinstein, who is the Chief Deputy of DHCD. So I just wanted to make sure I acknowledge him as well. So I am very excited to be here. Some of you may know me, but some of you I have not had the pleasure of meeting yet. But prior to going to the state, I was right here in Newport News, part of the planning initiative as well as the development of this community. So I can go on and on and on, but I'm going to read my prepared remarks to make sure that I don't go off script too much. So while I may be in Richmond, I am, again, always excited. I spent most of my years in Newport News. I went to school here, grew up here. So I am excited to see this amazing transformation. This would not be possible without the many different partners that came together in both development as well as in the community. I want to acknowledge Penrose for their work in developing affordable housing and market rate communities, and to whom this will be the third development in Virginia. Penrose has been able to put together many multiple state resources to great use, including the National Housing Trust Fund, Virginia Housing Trust Fund, and funding through the Vibrant Communities initiatives. And not many communities receive that funding. With the support of these efforts, they've been able to create this beautiful, affordable housing while keeping their focus on the needs of just the existing vibrant community as it is today. And what a remarkable achievement. I also want to acknowledge the Newport News Redevelopment and Housing Authority for their longstanding relationship with Newport News, as well as the community, and for paving the way for making this current affordable housing development efforts possible. I want to also acknowledge the City of Newport News for recognizing the importance of this endeavor and committing to its success. And last, but most important, I want to acknowledge the Southeast community and the new residents of the Lift and Rise, all of whom have been actively engaged in the process of identifying community needs and determining what their neighborhood can be, should be, and what it will be. No one quite understands the neighborhood like the residents who live here. And your efforts continue to be an outstanding example of how critical community involvement is to any redevelopment effort. And I encourage you to stay engaged as your neighborhood continues to be reimagined and transformed. And so, again, I applaud the remarkable work that has been done in turning Lift and Rise into a reality. I remember us sitting at the table and just sketching it out and changing the plans and sketching it out and moving the buildings and sketching it out. So this is just, again, just a really, really, really humbling and remarkable experience for me. And so, again, congratulations on the efforts. And now I will turn it over to the Director of Compliance and Asset Management with Virginia Housing, Mr. Neil Rogers.
So I am Neil Rogers, Director of Compliance and Asset Management at Virginia Housing. It's great to be back down here in Newport News. It's been a little while since I've been here. And I first of all would like to thank everybody, all of the partners that have made this possible. The City of Newport News, the Newport News Redevelopment Housing Authority, Department of Housing and Urban Development, Department of Housing and Community Development, and Penrose. At Virginia Housing, our mission is to help every Virginian attain quality, affordable housing. And we're proudly celebrating this year 50 years of service to this mission. For our low-income families and other vulnerable Virginians who call Newport News home, finding a great place to live that is safe and affordable can be a huge challenge. Like so many growing communities around Virginia, there are often limited choices when it comes to affordable rental housing, especially for those with few resources or access to essential services that meet their needs. The affordable options that do exist often suffer from outdated designs, a few real amenities, an inconvenient location, and other issues that make the difference between having a great place to live and the opportunity to thrive. However, it does not have to be this way. For residents of the Lift and the Rise, we are showing what is possible when we work together to harness the best tools and resources to deliver the promise of affordable housing. Virginia Housing is proud to do our part by providing over $2.3 million in financial support and $6 million in tax credit equity. Our contribution represents more than financing for a development of a property. It is an investment in the better future for its residents and their loved ones. We are investing in a diverse and vibrant community. We're investing in the Rise and the Lift, supported by Choice Neighborhood Initiative, to ensure that the community will remain affordable and is convenient and vibrant. Lastly, we are investing in a powerful example of what committed groups of partners can do to ensure that Virginians have more of an opportunity to thrive here in Newport News. Thank you, and with that, I'm going to turn over to Karen Wilds, Executive Director with Newport News Redevelopment Housing.
Neil, thank you so much. You all cannot imagine how thrilled I am to be here this morning celebrating the dedication of these two buildings. It really is such an incredible, important milestone in our CNI journey. There are so many people and organizations to thank for making this happen. This was possible only through dedicated and unfailing teamwork. Our city council, our city manager, particularly our mayor and our vice mayor, have been so supportive all along the way. The Redevelopment Housing Authority Board has provided amazing support. Our funders have really incentivized the repositioning of affordable housing, and it's so important that all of these resources have come together from the Department of Housing and Community Development with the state, Virginia Housing, and particularly HUD through Choice Neighborhoods. We've had two great investors, Citibank and KeyBank, and we have had, I believe, a very good partnership with our development partner, Penrose. They've done a fabulous job and have really been on the ground working through this. You know, this is our first phase. We've already done the groundbreaking on our second phase, and we're starting to plan our third phase. So this is just an ongoing, continuous process. Breeden Construction has done a great job. I know there's some representatives from Breeden here, and we've had a very, very talented design team, WRT, and they're also here this morning to help us celebrate. We have had some great work done by the Citizens Advisory Committee with advice, consultation, and a lot of support, a lot of questions, and I think it's been a very, very good partnership, and it's only getting better. I also really want to thank all the city departments that have been with us every step of the way. Development, planning, engineering, and codes have helped us in innumerable ways. And last but not least, the staff of the Redevelopment and Housing Authority. Thank you so very much. This has been an incredible partnership, and I'm so excited that you're going to be able to see it and appreciate it today. The Lift and the Rise is going to be home to 81 families from all walks of life, and will serve as another important reminder of how far we've come in the revitalization of the Lower Jefferson Avenue area. You may have helped us a few weeks ago celebrate the recent groundbreaking at the former Ridley site just a few blocks up the street, and construction there is going to start later this month, and so there's going to be more things to celebrate and more things to come. So please continue to join us. So in the spirit of this holiday season, I just want to express my thankfulness for everybody who's helped make this happen. And also for all of those families who are going to call the Lift and the Rise home for many years to come. Thanks for being here. I would like to now introduce Patrick Stewart, who luckily got through the tunnel, which was apparently no easy feat. So Patrick, please come up with Penrose.
Good morning, everybody. Normally, you shouldn't have to say that I'm glad I literally made it here. I'm just happy to be here. You can tell I'm from out of town because I did not allot enough time to get through that challenging tunnel. So good morning. Thank you all for being here with us to celebrate the completion of the Lift and Rise. My name is Patrick Stewart, Regional Vice President with Penrose. If it's possible to be both humble and proud at the same time, I am those things right now just to be part of this. This is a huge, huge milestone for us, for Penrose, for our partners at NNRHA, our team, the city of Newport News, and most importantly for Marshall Ridley residents. These beautiful buildings that we're just extremely excited to be standing and sitting next to right now are a representation of the first two phases of the Marshall Ridley Choice Neighborhoods Initiative and the first homecoming for residents. Not to say that our work is done, of course. We still have a few details to wrap up, as you can see. Breeden and their team working feverishly through very difficult circumstances. And as Karen just noted, we still have the final phases to complete. So while today marks the first homecoming, it's certainly not going to be the last. There are a lot of aspects of these projects that make them unique, also more than a little bit challenging, being the first phase of a multi-phase choice transformation plan. We're bringing, as Karen noted, 81 units of affordable housing and mixed income housing. I want to stress that. That's really important, and it's not easy to pull off that we're doing affordable housing serving a range of household incomes, as well as market rate units side by side. There's no difference, no distinction between them. We're bringing retail to the Jefferson Avenue corridor. This is a really complex transaction from a funding standpoint, doing what we call a twin, utilizing two different funding structures, two separate projects that are moving forward concurrently, utilizing two different types of tax credits. That requires a lot of patience, a lot of cooperation from a lot of people. We closed financing during the pandemic, continued and are wrapping up construction during very difficult circumstances. Modern amenities, details that really compete with market rate. We've got community spaces, a rooftop terrace, fitness center, playground. The buildings are green, certifying under Enterprise Green Communities, as well as net zero energy ready. We're bringing solar panels, not quite up on the buildings yet, but phase one is going to have solar panels on the rooftop to reduce our carbon footprint and energy consumption and costs. So a lot to celebrate and a lot of people to thank. I'm going to try to work through this list. This is what I wanted to spend the most time on. Number one, to NNRHA under Karen's leadership and her team, Karen, Lysandra, Steve in particular, and the entire team. I used the word recently, steadfast leadership, unflappable. They have been leading the charge since day one, and it's just been a privilege to be working with them and to be able to celebrate these milestones as we move forward. For the Penrose team, Christine Robertson, Sharif Ismail, our entire transition management team and the property management folks who are working behind the scenes right now to bring people home. The city of Newport News, I know this has been said before, but it's really remarkable and uncommon to see this type of partnership between the city and a housing authority. So for the city of Newport News, Mayor McKinley Price, Cindy Rolfe, Vice Mayor Sandra Cherry, who is also our neighbor, Owen Miller, Derek Perry, Sheila McAllister, Flora Chioros, Florence Kingston, the Marshall Ridley CAC. Very importantly, Virginia Housing, not only providing tax credits for both phases, but providing additional tax credits through a COVID supplemental allocation to help the project kind of get across the finish line, again, during very challenging circumstances. So hats off to Virginia Housing for seeing the need and meeting those challenges. Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development as our permanent funding contributor, U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development with their Choice Program, Key Bank and Key Community Development Corporation, construction lender and investor on phase one, Hunt Capital Partners, our tax credit investor on phase two. This is not going to do justice. We have a team that's been in the trenches and working through some huge challenges. Our Breeden Construction, who's doing a wonderful job, WRT, our project architects, designing beautiful buildings that we all can be proud of, Burns McDonald, our civil engineer, Newport News Youth Build, and Innova, who I don't think gets enough credit, is really the glue for us through the design and construction process. I just want to say a little bit about the big picture and the challenges that we've all been working through. We've keep hearing more and more about a national affordable housing crisis, and it's real. I can't overstate that. The good news is there's increasing attention on the issue. There's a focus and recognition of how important it is to put the resources together to help combat this crisis in the face of rising housing costs, rising construction costs. And this project right here is an example of what can happen when we all align ourselves behind a singular mission and work together to achieve that goal, to build a beautiful, safe, healthy, attractive place that people can afford to call home, which sounds pretty simple, but it's definitely not easy. And again, I think it's worth taking a minute to step back and celebrate. So everybody here who's here this morning has played a role, big or small, in making this happen and being part of the solution. So we thank you. And a little bit about the name, Lift and Rise. When we think about what those words mean, it's hard to think of a better way to christen this amazing project than by infusing it with a sense of the bigger meaning of what we're doing here. It's not just about buildings, it's about the impact it has on people's lives, providing housing opportunities, but also providing economic opportunities and opportunities for advancement, opportunities literally to rise.
Hold up now. Thank y'all for coming. My name is Lamont Williams. I am here only as a representative of the Citizens Advisory Committee, being their chair. And at this moment, I would like all the CAC people who are here make sure you are front and center and prominent. Will you please stand up? As I say it here, I'm only here as a representative of a group of impassioned people that I have loved to work side by side with to make this community a better place. I love to thank the city, beginning with our leadership, from the manager to our council, to all of the departments, including Karen and her staff, Florence and her staff. Oh man. I'm getting overwhelmed right now because people do not realize when this project first started, as me as a community person, the city as a whole embraced the philosophy of what HUD was trying to achieve with this project. And that it wouldn't just be city ran with a rubber stamp group of citizens to say that's okay, but for us to truly be advisory. As Karen stated earlier, we've had our tussles and our struggles. But for all of us who are part of CAC, who have reached out and tried to let the community know that this isn't about the kick out, but the come up. Here's your proof right here with phase 1. Because we've always been a neighborhood that regardless of circumstances that might have been embedded within the culture of this country, we always wanted to make sure we took care of one another, that we lift one another up and rise to be a better people. This building is an embodiment of that. But more importantly, is someone who I'm introducing today, who truly embodies what Newport News now is calling ourselves, building through breakthroughs. His name is Michael Diaz. Did I say it right? Okay, I want to make sure I get your name right, bro. Michael is a resident here of the southeast community of Newport News. He was determined to lift up his circumstances and rise above what he might have seen outside his window. So he applied to the Newport News Youth Build program designed to help our younger citizens know their value, their worth, and how they can transform a community in productivity. Through this program, the young people of Newport News gains hands-on experience in construction and trades. They benefit from the in-classroom lessons and job shadowing. They also get hands-on experience building homes, like for example with Habitat for Humanity, or in this case, in Michael's case, through working with Breeden Construction, who built and was the subcontractor for this new development. So he participated in the job shadowing program with Breeden. And after he completed that program, Breeden quickly hired Michael. Quickly hired Michael. And he became part of the team that built this new space. That is what lifting does. That is what rising does. So nothing embodies building through breakthroughs and what Newport News is wanting to do for our community than for this man right here to share his story in his words of his breakthrough. So I introduce to you right now, Michael Diaz.
Hello, my name is Michael Diaz. I grew up in Marshall Ridley. I'm honored to be given the opportunity to rebuild my community, thanks to Brittany Construction. I would also like to thank the Youth Build program for the time and effort they put into me, because without them, I would not be standing in front of all of you. So with that being said, I hope you have a great day, and I hope y'all enjoy the tour.
Man of my own heart. I love brevity. Michael, I want to thank you for that comments. It is really heartfelt, and we, on behalf of the community, thank you for your success and what you're doing here in this community. We really appreciate it. Let's give them another round of applause. Our holistic approach to community renewal allows people of all ages to transform their lives. As you heard, Michael was part of the Newport News Youth Build, which helps young people gain skills and training to excel in careers and in-demand industries. We also have numerous programs at the Brooks Crossing Innovation and Opportunity Center that help people take the next step in life and in their education. We also have the Four Oaks Services and Training Center that helps those who are experiencing homelessness by offering workforce development services, as well as connecting individuals to medical and other care. And our Human Services Department is creating wraparound programs that help residents become self-sufficient. All of these programs and initiatives empower citizens to change their circumstances or take the next step. So we show residents that it's never too late to change, and more importantly, we prove that their city believes in them and their future. So the men and women and children who will live in these apartments and townhouses will have access to a variety of services and support that will help them lead strong and healthy lives. The fact that we have over 2,500 people on our interest list shows that the work we are doing is being noticed and is making a difference. People want to be here. A few years from now, when we open the next phase of housing down the street, and I know the residents from the Lift and Rise will speak about the sense of community they feel and how living in Newport News has changed their lives. And it's an exciting time in our city with breakthroughs taking place from one end of this city to the next. I want to thank you for being here today to celebrate the completion of our first CNI project. More incredible things are coming, so stay engaged. So now who's ready to cut this ribbon? All right. Everybody ready? We ready. 1, 2, 3.